Something I'm often approached about from those who are considering selling their home is, what can I do now to best prepare myself for when I want to sell in the next 6 to 12 months? And one thing I'll say is it's never too early to get started having a conversation. So today I'd like to share the top 5 things that you should consider doing now to prepare if you are looking to sell in the next year. My name is Susan Glens, and I am the founder of Bespoke Homes team at Keller Williams Realty. We proudly service the greater Rochester and Finger Lakes area as go-to real estate advisors for our clients. We've been in business for 13 years, and we've served over 2,500 families and $500 million in sales. Those stats are only important because that means we put all of that experience behind every single client. We love helping our sellers move forward with confidence and experience profitable, stress-free sales. So let's dive in. What are the top 5 things you can do today to get yourself prepared to sell in the next 6 to 12 months? Well, this is a challenging topic for me only because the whole crux of our business at Bespoke Homes is to deliver a curated real estate experience. And what that means is we truly believe and embrace the fact that every single seller has a different goal, a different journey, right? And so for me to sit here and say, what are the top 5 things any seller can do? I don't think they're universal. I'm going to share with you 5 things that I think everyone should consider doing, but they're not going to be your typical things that you might hear in other videos because everyone's experience and journey and needs are so unique. So the first thing I recommend is to gather any important documents that could be relevant to your sale. The first thing is a survey map. That's the map that shows the lot lines of your property. That's great to be able to show potential buyers if there's any easements or things like that that they would need to be concerned of. So your survey map, your abstract, and don't worry if you can't find your abstract. It's a ledger size document that in New York State, it could very well be in storage with your title company. Sometimes sellers do take it home. So if you took it home, it's probably in a safe place, so check your safe. Also, HOA. If you're in an HOA, you want to check for your HOA rules and regulations and bylaws. We definitely need to get a copy of that so we can share that with future buyers. Any type of warranty that's related to the property. A big one is your roof warranty. If you've had the roof replaced and there's a transferable warranty, we want to have that, as well as any services that have been performed on the property recently. So perhaps if you've had the chimney serviced and cleaned, your furnace serviced and cleaned, or your AC unit, we want to keep track of all of that to be able to convey that to future buyers. So gather all the documents that you can and have them ready. The last document that you want to gather is related to your mortgage balance or your home equity line of credit or HELOC balance, so that we can understand what type of equity you have in your home when it comes to valuing your property. The second step is assembling your team. And I think it's never too early to consider this because selling a home, it's probably one of your biggest assets in your lifetime, right? And so making sure that you have a team around you that does this day in and day out to help you maximize your return is critical. So you're going to want to interview real estate brokers to determine who not only has local market knowledge and expertise that you can put on your side, but who you also have a really good vibe with, right? And who you trust. Because there could be some hard decisions to make and some hard conversations to have, and you need to know that they have your back and you feel confident in their recommendations. So a real estate professional and a real estate attorney. Now that is key, real estate attorney. All too often I've seen clients that want to use an attorney that's a friend and maybe their area of expertise is more in litigation or family law, and real estate is its own wild beast that is constantly changing and evolving. So if you don't have a real estate attorney that knows the latest rules and regulations and laws and contract changes, talk to your real estate broker because they will have a trusted recommendation for you. My third consideration for you as you're looking to potentially sell in the future is a pre-home inspection. Now, like I said, step 2 is assemble your team. So this is where I want you to talk to your real estate broker and ask them if a pre-inspection on your home is the right step. Because it really depends on the type of market you're in, and they should have informed you what type of market you're in. If you're in a seller's market, which means homes are in limited supply and sellers generally have more leverage, then I do not recommend a pre-inspection, because anything that you uncover in an inspection technically needs to be disclosed to the buyer. And if you have more leverage and there's multiple offers, and many times folks are waiving home inspections, like in the market that we've been in the past, we've seen purchase contracts with a 90% waival of inspection rate. meaning only 10% of contracts are actually having an inspection in this market. So I wouldn't recommend that to my clients right now. However, if your real estate broker says we're in more of a buyer's market, which means there's many homes on the market and buyers can take their pick and name their price, then you may want to consider a pre-inspection, which helps you uncover issues that could come up later in an inspection and help bulletproof the contract. The fourth consideration is one that I don't think people think of too often. And so very similar to the last one where I said you want to consider a pre-inspection of your property depending on the type of market. This one is also seasonal as well. So this is, especially because you're thinking ahead, look at what season you're in and consider getting professional photos done now of the exterior that you can add to the professional photos at the time that you actually go to list with your broker. So perfect example, let's say it's in the middle of summer, you have a beautiful in-ground pool, the leaves and the flowers are blooming and your backyard looks amazing. And you know, based on your timing, for whatever reason, you are moving in the winter. Bring your broker through, have them bring their photographer through, capture the essence of your backyard, because pools do not show as well in the winter, right? They're covered, especially in our area of Rochester and the Finger Lakes. So think seasonally, what photos might I want to capture, and work with your broker to be proactive. And the fifth and final recommendation would be consider first impression of your home. Consider the first impression of your home. So take a look outside and take a look at your front door, your entryway, your driveway. Are there things that you can start to improve now so that when it comes time to sell, you'll have all your ducks in a row? Same thing interior. So outside you want to consider, should I seal my driveway? Should I repaint my front door? Simple things like that can go a long way, depending on the season, potentially freshen up mulch and bushes and flowers. And as you head inside the home, consider small cosmetic updates you can make that make a big difference and for a first impression. The number one thing I go to always is paint. Paint makes such a difference. So if there's rooms that you can neutralize and color, rooms that are scuffed up that you can clean up with a fresh coat of paint, it goes a long way. And then lastly, inside of first impression, something that folks often forget is smell. So we live in our homes every day, right? I have several dogs. I'm sure I am used to my dog's smell. When someone comes in my home, they're going to sense that because they're not in it every day. And then after time, it dissipates, right? So I'm certain that there are probably smells in your home if you have pets, or perhaps you're a smoker, that those scents you become blind to them, or immune to them rather. So ask your real estate broker, is there any scents in my home that I should consider tackling now so that it's not an issue when I go to list? If you haven't hired a real estate broker yet, have a friend over that you can trust that will be brutally honest with you and ask them if there's any sense that you should address. So those are my top 5 considerations if you're looking to sell your home in the greater Rochester and Finger Lakes area in the next 6 to 12 months. Our goal is simple at Bespoke Homes: to empower you to sell confidently and profitably. If you found value in this video, hit like, subscribe below, turn on your notifications, and comment if there's any future topics that you would like us to address on our channel. And lastly, if you are a homeowner in the greater Rochester and Finger Lakes area looking for expert guidance, click on the link below to get connected with our team. We would love the opportunity to serve you.